NEWS travel scope includes adventures to the Cook Islands in the Pacific, joining a parade of the medieval guilds during Zurich's festival, exploration of the stone figures on Easter Island, and the Amazon rainforest in Peru. Come scale new heights of adventure, natural splendor, and cultural richness this season. The travel adventure begins Sundays at 2 p.m. on KRWG.
Universities are often defined by buildings, sculptures, spaces, and landmarks. This is Discovering NMSU. Almost every NMSU student has walked along the International Mall rushing to get to class during their freshman year. Along the mall is the spacious College of Business Plaza. Resting in the shadow cast by Memorial Tower, the plaza is home to three figures frozen in time. These financial guardians are known as the traders. But what does this statue depict? In 1986, artist and former Aggie Duke Sunt began to work on the Trader's statue. 13-inch high limited edition bronze miniatures of the piece were sold to cover the cost of materials. The entire project took close to 2 years from start to finish, but the final product, unveiled in 1988, astonished many and became a focal point of the campus. The scene is set as a trade deal in the 1850s. The three men represent the tricultural heritage of New Mexico: Anglo, Hispanic, and Native American. The three men are trading various tools which are spread out at the front base of the statue. The bronze sculpture is said to be a direct reflection of New Mexico's people, heritage, and natural beauty. Today, the ever-present tradesmen serve as a reminder to all of the grand sense of hospitality NMSU offers to those of all cultures and the importance of coming together to facilitate equal opportunities to thrive. As students in the plaza walk to class or pause for a rest, they can look to the Trader statue and be reminded of the culture and business history of the region.
Listen live to KRWG Radio anytime at krwg.org.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting NEWS22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on NEWS22.
NMSU prepares for the arrival of Garth Brooks.
One program that helps out homeless children has been attacked. All that and more on NEWS22 Tuesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV NEWS22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Javier Gutierrez.
And I'm Raquel Andujo.
The New Mexico State Board of Regents has postponed their decision on whether to increase tuition for NMSU students next fall. The Board of Regents is concerned about the upcoming budget in the state. The tuition hike could be up to 6%. If the tuition isn't raised, the university may be forced to cut some programs and services. The Regents did approve some increases, a 2.9% cost in some meal plans, and a 4-year housing rate increase that will take place on some housing complexes for the 2017-2018 school year. Native American Week has kicked off at NMSU with several events happening this week. Today's event featured a modern Native panel discussion. 5 different speakers talked about some of the difficulties the Native American people have faced. Graduate student Thor Peterson was one of the students at this event. He says this week is all about understanding.
It's definitely important that there's a cultural exchange that happens between everyone and anyone's culture. So this is a great idea, or a great way for us as Native Americans to share our culture with everyone.
The president of the American Indian Science and Engineering Society says the goal of the American Indian Week on campus is to recognize and embrace indigenous culture. All of the events this week will showcase Native American culture. And it sure was a windy day out there. Started off in the morning.
Sure has calmed down a bit.
That it has, and Jess is next with our first look at weather.
Good evening, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions.
So right now we are seeing sunny skies with the temperature at 68 degrees, winds coming from the southwest at 11 miles per hour, humidity at 13%, dew point at 16 degrees, and our barometer at 29.69 inches. Today we saw a high of 71 degrees, very, very, very pretty day, which is right below our average of 75. Last night we saw a low of 40 degrees. Our record temperature high was at 89 degrees in 1967, and our record low was in 1979 at 26 degrees. We didn't see any rainfall today, so our yearly rainfall sits at 2.14 inches. I'll be back later to take a look at your national forecast, but for now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Jessica. Police are investigating an armed robbery at a Las Cruces Taco Bell.
That's the first story in tonight's Crime Blotter.
Police say a man went into the Taco Bell on South Walnut Street early yesterday morning. He pretended to be a customer before pulling out a handgun and demanding money. He took the money and ran away. The man is described as Hispanic, about 6 feet tall, and was wearing black pants and black shoes. A man suspected of shooting at his ex-wife was arrested late Friday evening after an hours-long SWAT standoff. Kyle Joshua Brown was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. Police say Brown confronted his ex-wife and her boyfriend and fired several shots at them. The bullets hit the vehicle, but nobody was injured. Police located Brown at his home and needed the SWAT team to arrest him. Brown is in the Doña Ana County Jail under $75,000 bond. A Fort Bliss soldier accused of severely beating a college student in 2015 pleaded guilty last week to 1 count of aggravated battery. Derek Edward Joyce agreed to plead guilty as a part of a deal. He will be sentenced after completing a 60-day diagnostic evaluation. He faces up to 3 years in prison, followed by 2 years of parole. I'm Isaiah Silva with the Crime Blotter.
A Las Cruces program meant to help children in need was vandalized this past weekend. Kids at Jardín de los Niños on Amador Avenue discovered that part of their playground had been charred when they went outside to play last Friday. No suspects have been identified at this time.
The wall had been singed, a trash can, Tonka truck, and rake had been burned, and so we immediately called the fire investigator, police, and risk management for the city because it is their building, and tried to get it as cleaned up as possible. But because it's so badly singed, it's still really black out there.
Hartley thinks the fire may have been started by someone familiar with the building because the fire occurred in an area where cameras aren't. The nation is still adjusting to some of the Trump administration changes.
A group at NMSU is trying to help the community understand and digest these changes.
They call themselves SOS, Standing with Our Students, a nonpartisan group dedicated to informing and educating the community through a series of teach-ins about some of today's most hotly argued topics. Thursday's teaching was on immigration, its history, policy, and practice.
There are a lot of people that do not understand the immigration issue. I have met with people and talked to people in the Midwest. They have no concept what the border is like, but they vote.
The panel consists of NMSU history professor Jamie Bronstein, assistant professor of government Sabine Hirschauer, Associate Professor of Languages and Linguistics Spencer Herrera, and Director of the New Mexico Chapter of American Civil Liberties Union, Vicky Gabeca. After the presentation, the panel opened up to answer any questions or concerns from the audience, stressing that one of the reasons for the group is to show support to affected community members.
Overall, an increased sense of common purpose, an increased sense of campus unity, a sense that we're all in this together. I really like Chancellor Carruthers' formulation of a caring community. I think New Mexico State very much is that in practice. And so this is just another manifestation of that, the ways in which we can care for each other and the ways in which we can think together. We're also an intellectual community, and that's important too.
With more topics to cover and additional questions to answer, SOS will be holding 2 more teachings here at the Hardman and Jacob Learning Center at NMSU. The second event will cover the issue of fake news, and the third event will go over free speech, hate speech, and protest. For News 22, Carlos Pedrosa.
With the immigration issue at the forefront of the political discussion, we all need to know the facts.
A woman who studied those facts was in Las Cruces last week to talk about her new book, Immigration, Examining the Facts. News 22's Nolan Fox was there as she shined some light on the controversy.
Faculty and community members gathered at the Nason House on campus on Friday afternoon to hear Dr. Carrie Lee Skogbert Eastman's presentation and signing of her new book. She talks about how immigration benefits the United States, and she hopes the book will clear up misconceptions.
To provide the general public, students, researchers with a source of information about the major questions that arise about immigration and about the border, to provide them with a source of information that is reliable and trustworthy, that's based on years of studies and facts and government documents, so that they don't have to sort through what is fact and what is fiction.
According to Dr. Eastman, there are 4 main categories in which immigrants can apply for to come into the United States. They are
a family-sponsored visa, so that means that you must have a family member, a U.S. citizen here, who petitions for you to come in. The second category is an employer-sponsored visa, so you can come being sponsored by an employer here in the United States. The third is as a refugee or an asylum seeker, so those who qualify for refugee status from outside of the country can come as a legal person into the United States. And the fourth category is the diversity visa lottery.
She says that getting into the country legally is more difficult than it may seem. Only 50,000 out of 19 million diversity visa applicants are accepted each year. For News 22, I'm Nolan Fox.
And stay tuned, Jessica will be back to take a look at your national forecast.
And later, we bring you the one true way to cure a hangover. More on that when News 22 continues. Hi, I'm Norma Bichot, Program Manager for KRWG. It's a brand new season and host Joseph Rosendo is headed on another journey. The new season of Joseph Rosendo's Travel Scope includes adventures to the Cook Islands in the Pacific, joining a parade of the medieval guilds during Zurich's festival, exploration of the stone figures on Easter Island, and the Amazon rainforest in Peru. Come scale new heights of adventure, natural splendor, and cultural richness this season. The travel adventure begins Sundays at 2 p.m. on KRWG.
Watch MHZ Worldview on Digital Broadcast Channel 22.2. Every day, world news and public affairs, and every night, international dramas, all in English or with English subtitles. Worldview is also available on Comcast Channel 395 in Las Cruces and 399 in Silver City and Spectrum Channel 1271 in El Paso. Become a member anytime at krwg.org.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters.
2 of the biggest names in country music are coming to Las Cruces.
Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are ready to find their friends in low places this weekend. The Pan Am that hauled parts of the stage and lights into the Pan Am this morning. The 5 shows will kick off on Friday night. There are still tickets available at the Pan Am for purchase.
I know for Saturday night, Saturday at 7, those are almost like completely white. Like there's only like single tickets on some. And then on other days, yeah, there's still a few tickets, but in the back, the very, very back, the top.
The Garth Brooks World Tour has sold over 5 million tickets in the past 2 years, making it the biggest tour in the world right now. News 22 will be at a press conference that Garth and Trisha are holding here in Las Cruces to bring you more.
The GOP healthcare plan was said to be over and done with, but it's not looking that way.
The Trump administration is looking to give it another go as far as their healthcare plan. Diane Gallagher has the story.
Could a healthcare reboot be in the works?
We don't have a bill text or an agreement yet, but this is the kind of conversations we want.
The White House is apparently working behind the scenes to make it happen, led by Vice President Mike Pence.
We continue to work earnestly with Congress for a new future on health care reform.
But much like the first bill that failed, the devil is in the details. The White House proposes giving states the ability to opt out of provisions that affect coverage for pre-existing conditions as well as maternity care or substance abuse by removing themselves from the essential health benefit and community rating regulations. Now, that's something the House Freedom Caucus wants, but once again, it may not go far enough to win over their support. And any concessions made to the far right could chip away at support from moderates.
We want our members to talk with each other about how we can improve the bill to get consensus.
Now, in the final stages of negotiations over the first GOP bill, the president said that this would be the one and only shot to get repeal and replace done. Then, after it failed, he said this.
I think what will happen is Obamacare, unfortunately, will explode. It's going to have a very bad year.
In the days that followed, the president went after those Republicans who opposed the plan, even calling some out by name. Now it appears the White House is reaching out to those members in what could be the last realistic chance to get something done. In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
So, you had one glass too many last night, and now you have a hangover.
You don't have to suffer through it. Here are some tips to ease the pain. Kim Hutcherson has that in today's Health Minute.
Having a drink with friends can be fun, but hangovers are not. Symptoms can include fatigue, dehydration, headache or muscle aches, dizziness, shakiness, and rapid heartbeat. But there are things you can do to mitigate the effects. Don't drink on an empty stomach. Experts say this could make a hangover worse. Stay hydrated. The U.S. National Library of Medicine recommends drinking a glass of water in between alcoholic drinks. And be sure to drink generous amounts of H2O the next day. Alcohol can impair the body's absorption of certain nutrients, specifically vitamin A, zinc, potassium, and B vitamins. But eating the right foods can play a role in replacing them. Vitamin A can be found in butter and eggs, or veggies like carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, or broccoli. Animal products like fish, poultry, beef, and dairy have B vitamins. Nuts, whole grains, and beans contain zinc, and avocados or bananas can offer a boost of potassium. Avoid medications containing acetaminophen, which can cause liver damage when combined with alcohol. Also, avoid the hair of the dog. But remember, the best way to ward off a hangover is to not drink, or to drink in moderation. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
The Gold King mine spill settlements won't be as large as originally thought. The spill tainted rivers in Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah, causing a $1.2 billion loss of income, property damage, and personal injuries. After attorneys reduced some of the larger claims, the total is now $420 million. Although the EPA acknowledges responsibility for the spill, they say federal law prevents it from paying claims due to sovereign immunity, which prohibits most lawsuits against the government. And Jessica is next with our weather.gov national forecast.
Thanks, Javi. Let's go ahead and take a look at our national forecast. So right now you'll see that these folks from Phoenix to Las Vegas are going to see some blowing dust at gusts all the way up to 50 miles per hour, so please be cautious if you're traveling this way. There will be travel delays. On my next map, you will see that there is a chilly snowstorm that will be going on all the way until Wednesday. Especially folks up in the north, this is going to affect you, so please be aware of these conditions, as there will be some snow, some heavy rain that could also cause some travel delays. On my next map, let's go ahead and take a look at our national map. You'll see that our folks up in Denver are seeing a nice 48 degrees right now with some rain. In Dallas, 82 degrees with some partly sunny skies. In St. Louis, 63 degrees and cloudy. Washington, 70 degrees and cloudy as well. And in Buffalo, 41 degrees with some rain as well. I'll be back to take a look at your New Mexico forecast after the break.
Welcome to an exciting new season of New Scandinavian Cooking,
the international cooking series that explores Scandinavian cuisine, culture, and history.
Thursday at 2:30 p.m. on KRWG.
It's the first and the fastest. Motor Week covers the automotive world like no one else, with in-depth road tests and the information and advice you need. It's all right here, every week on Motor Week.
Saturday morning at 11:30 on KRWG TV.
Blow out the candles. Let the party begin. It's America's Test Kitchen Sweet 16.
Finally, after 16 years, I go home with a prize.
The whole gang's back with a new season of remarkable recipes, terrific taste tests, sensational science, groovy gadgets, and enlightening equipment reviews. Join us for Season 16 of America's Test Kitchen.
Saturday at 3:30 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions right now around New Mexico. So right now, you will see that, there we go. In Clovis, they're sitting at a nice 58 degrees. Roswell at 57. Ruidoso at 62. Albuquerque at 51. Las Cruces, we're sitting at 71 degrees right now, and Deming at 71 as well. On my next map, let's go ahead and take a look at our conditions for tomorrow. Tomorrow you can expect Roswell to be at a nice 67 degrees, Clovis at 60, Gallup at 59, Santa Fe at 52, and Deming at 70. Let's go ahead and take a look at our sister cities. In Alamogordo tonight, you all can expect a temperature of 36, sunny skies tomorrow at 67. In TRC, expect some cloudy skies tonight at 47, sunny tomorrow at 70. In Silver City, clear skies right now at 37, a high of 64, and sunny skies as well. And in the beautiful city of Las Cruces, you're looking at some cloudy skies right now at a temperature of 40 tonight, a high of 70 tomorrow with some sunny skies. I'll be back later to take a look at your 5-day forecast, but for now, back to the desk.
Thank you, Jessica. A foster child in Houston is dead after being hit by a car.
That's the first story tonight in Southwest Minute.
Authorities say the 15-year-old girl was running away from home. A different foster child was also injured in the incident. Police say the driver of the vehicle stopped and tried to help the victims. He's not expected to face any charges. Arizona state troopers caught a suspect that led them on a slow speed. The chase started yesterday when troopers tried to stop the driver. They followed the suspect for miles. The man finally stopped under a freeway after he spun out. Troopers used a taser on the suspect to take him into custody. A house explosion in Pasadena, California on Monday left one person with severe burns to his arms and face. Investigators confirmed the blast came from a drug lab fire, described as a medium-sized. Operation investigators are looking into the cause of the explosion. I'm Yvonne Del Rio with Southwest Minute.
And Tanya Barba is next with sports.
Thanks, y'all. Coming up in sports, if you didn't watch the last NCAA game, I have your recap. And later, I have all the buzz on Tony Romo's next move. Don't change to ESPN just yet because NEWS22 Sports is next.
We came from Puerto Rico. We moved here to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania when I was 4 years old. I come from a very hardworking blue-collar family. My dad was diagnosed with leukemia. I couldn't continue my education and had to focus more on holding a full-time job so I could help pay the bills and support my family. I'm a very curious person. One night I was watching an episode of Nova about genetics and evolution. Fireworks went off in my head thinking, oh yeah, that's something I could do. Why can't I go out and change the world? I decided to go back to school so I could study evolutionary genetics. It looks like I'm gonna be able to pay the bills while going into something where I could achieve my dreams. PBS presented me with an idea that had never occurred to me before. I've never felt such a purpose, and now all I do is dream big.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Tanya Barba, and let's swing into sports. Last week there were 4. Last night there were 2, and now we can call someone a champion. In a tournament filled with numerous upsets and lots of buzzer beaters, a champion team was finally declared. Gonzaga reached the 2017 National Championship game by ending South Carolina's run with a 77-73 victory on Saturday in the Final Four. And North Carolina followed with a 77-76 against Oregon. Last night marked the conclusion of the 2017 NCAA tournament with the 71-65 victory of North Carolina over Gonzaga. It was the Tar Heels' second year in a row being in the championship matchup, but it was Gonzaga's first time making an appearance in the Final Four.
And the Aggie baseball team took the field today against number 6 Texas Tech. The Aggies hosted the Red Raiders at Presley Askew Field for the first time since 1999. The Aggies would surrender 6 runs in top of the first inning as Andy Fricks would head back to the mound. The Red Raiders would add 3 more runs on the board as the Aggies fell 15-4. NM State will remain home after this midweek matchup and will host UT Rio Grande Valley for a 3-game series for their WAC home opener. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm so excited to announce that baseball is officially back. Yesterday, 12 of your favorite teams hit the diamond, and the LA Dodgers would not disappoint whatsoever as Jock Pederson hit a grand slam for 5 runs during the 3rd inning that highlighted a power-packed opening day at Dodger Stadium. Pitcher Clayton Kershaw finished the day allowing 2 runs, 1 earned on 2 hits in the 7th inning, with 8 strikeouts and no walks, both times in which Kershaw reached base. He scored, making him the first Dodger pitcher since 1913 to score 2 runs on opening day. The Dodgers would finalize the game against the San Diego Padres 14-3. And Dallas gets ready to say goodbye to one of their own. Tony Romo is retiring from the Dallas Cowboys to replace another former quarterback in Phil Simms as a lead analyst for CBS. The network announced this morning that Tony will be paired with Jim Nantz on Thursday night and Sunday night's game next season. Romo's departure has been expected since November, since he conceded the job after missing 10 weeks due to a back injury. The Cowboys released Romo today after delaying the decision to see if he would generate interest in some sort of trade. Romo held a press conference this morning to let media and, of course, all of his fans what his next step with CBS is. And here is what he had to say.
There are certain things that I want to go do. That's what I was thinking in the football world, and I had to accomplish. And I'm always going to feel that way. I'm always going to feel, like I never actually, let's see. Well, I could say that, but that would be the headline, so I'm going to not say that. So, that's it, Des. There you go.
And tonight's play of the day is brought to y'all by the MLB. Y'all enjoy.
1-0 pitch on the way down to third. Manny Machado makes the stop from his knees and gets the out! Oh, mercy!
Well, he didn't win the Gold Glove, but that's the platinum play right there.
Yeah, it sure is. And Manny's slow to get up. He jarred himself a little bit on the dive. Take a look. This ball is hooking hard.
And that's all for Sports Tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Jess will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, a popular burger joint is transformed into a wedding venue. Find out more when News 22 returns.
They have superpower vision, incredible hearing, and unique flight skill.
It's just like aircraft. They can fly very slow, very controlled.
How do owls have these amazing abilities? Meet Luna and Lily to learn about owls' superpowers.
Wednesday at 7 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Major earthquake!
Thousands killed in Nepal.
Gone.
A deadly avalanche on Mount Everest. Can scientists predict the next killer quake?
One could occur in the next 10 years or the next 10 minutes.
Here comes more!
Himalayan megaquake on Nova.
Wednesday at 8 p.m. on KRWG TV.
A couple in California decided to keep their wedding reception casual and hold it at an In-N-Out Burger. Vanessa and Juan Pablo Cervantes were married at a church in Industry. Then they headed to their favorite takeout joint, where they joined their friends and family. The couple heads to England Saturday for their honeymoon.
So Jess, can you just tell us about our 5 days coming up?
Sure. So for the most part, we're going to see a lot of sun this week. So lots of sunny skies heading your way, with the highest on Friday and Saturday at 85 and our lowest tonight Sunday at 40 degrees. So be prepared for lots of sunshine this week.
Nice. And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Join us more.
Good night.
Good night.
Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Les saluda Carlos Pedrosa en este breve informativo de Noticias 22. La policía de Las Cruces sigue pidiendo de su ayuda para encontrar al responsable del accidente que se dio a fuga. La víctima fue identificada como Michael A. Chadwick, de 52 años, quien fue golpeado por un carro que se dirigía al sur. Al parecer, la víctima cruzaba la calle cuando el carro lo atropelló, quitándole la vida. El conductor huyó de la escena y la evidencia indica que el vehículo puede ser de color azul oscuro con posibles daños en la luz delantera y el parabrisas. Es posible que el conductor cambie su rutina o intente esconder el vehículo y arreglarlo antes de volverlo a usar. Es por eso que es muy importante que si usted tiene alguna información, favor de llamar al programa Alto al Crimen que aparece en su pantalla y recuerde que puede permanecer anónimo. En este caso se está ofreciendo una recompensa de $1,000. El famoso cantante de música country Garth Brooks dará su esperado concierto en el Centro Panamericano de NMSU como parte de su gran gira. El primer concierto será este viernes a las 7 de la noche. El sábado y domingo dará 2 conciertos cada día, uno a las 3 de la tarde y otro a las 7 de la noche. Se espera que su esposa Trisha Yearwood también sea parte del show. El último concierto que Brooks dio en Las Cruces fue hace 21 años. Los que vayan a asistir, diviértanse. Para Noticias 22, Carlos Pedrosa.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting NEWS22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
This is KRWG Las Cruces, serving the entire region thanks to your support.